Hi Virgo, here's a general look at your solar chart for November 2012, and this month up until the 22nd the Sun is in a sociable sector of your solar chart, and that means that you could be busier connecting up the dots, synthesizing things, collating information, connecting with faces and places, corresponding more, maybe more time spent on the net, perhaps running around more in general. And it's a time when you could have more on your mind and maybe more to get your head around and more to figure out, perhaps, but also other people's opinions to take on board and other people to take on yours as well. And there might be negotiation type situations coming up as well. The solar eclipse on the 13th is quite big news. It's going to be happening in that area I just mentioned, and that opens the way for a fresh start with everything to do with that area over several months to come. So that could be for you signing up for a course of study, or giving a course and teaching, or just putting your own words out there in some way, or thoughts in some way. Time perhaps to put pen to paper or make that call, visit that person or place. That would be a good thing to do to set a precedent on the day of the eclipse, which we won't see in this hemisphere. It's going to be seen in the southern hemisphere. I understand Cairns is where it's on the northeast side of Australia is where it's going to be the longest shadow time to see the shadow completely across the sun. But we will feel it, because always the eclipses, no matter whether we see them or not, we will feel the energy on some very subtle level. But just take one step on that day of the eclipse to put something out there in that sort of a way, and put the message out in some way, and then that will set up the precedent for the coming months. And then there's going to be another eclipse in November, and this one's going to be a lunar eclipse on the 28th, and that means for you Virgo, there's a chance for you to push forwards with aims and ambitions over the subsequent month. So that takes you up to about New Year, and by that I mean anything short term, that we sort of obstacles that we stumble across week by week. Or maybe something longer term, that you've got your eye on the master plan there. So again, ditto for that one, is doing something in, just take a step in the right direction on that day there. And then that will help with the energy as it pulses out, the lunar energy as it passes out. Eclipses are strange things, because actually sometimes before the actual eclipse occurs, we start to feel the energy in that particular area of our chart, the energy of change and of things being sort of shunted around in that area there. So watch out for those two. Now, just chats and conversations could be centering around family relationships, or with members of the family, neighbors, or anybody connected to where you live, or where you're based at the moment. So it's kind of very local. It might be around property. Conversations and ideas might be related to a physical space, inside, outside, and you may be also feeling a bit more sensitive at times, mulling things over in your mind, perhaps harking back to the past in some way a little bit more there. And there may be, for some of you, more contact with parents or guardian type figures. And for others of you, you may be considering a legacy or a tradition of some kind. But whatever's going on, feelings are more easily touched or triggered, and conversations may stir things up a little bit. Either way, it does tend to be a chattier time right in your own backyard. Now, Mercury is your ruling planet, so it really matters whenever Mercury goes retrograde. And Mercury retrogrades into the previous house on the 14th, where it teams up with the Sun in a very chatty area of your solar chart, and it's not anything like as emotional. So really, the emotional side of things will be happening just if they do happen at all. It's depending on your basic constitution and character, I suppose. But you could just feel that little bit more sensitivity happening up until mid-month. Actually, Mercury is retrograde between the 6th and the 26th of the month, but it's just that little sector there where it goes into the previous house. Now, until the 22nd, Venus is in a materialistic area, which is about money and property, possessions, bits of kit, equipment, objects. And overall, it means that you can do well if you play your cards right, and even better if you're crystal clear about what you want and you can manifest it. You can work on manifesting it. And that's not just in the mental sense. You've got to feel that thing. You absolutely got to use the child's imagination in you, the same child's imagination that played with the teddy bear or the dollies or the little trucks or the airplanes. You've got to be there with it, and it has to be real. And then you can, easy peasy, manifest. And Venus does tend, at the very least anyway, in this house of your solar chart, to ease things materially and gives access to the path towards abundance, towards treats or goodies. But just make sure that this stream that Venus creates isn't traveling more out of your pocket or from you than towards you. But this is a good time for getting your hands on certain things, preserving certain stuff, and appreciating just what you have, really, really appreciating it, and also maybe enjoying it with somebody else, because there's a feeling that there could be a relationship centered around this area as well. And overall, you could do better materially. And another way this Venus transit works is that you could get a little bit more opportunity to exercise your natural talents or your sort of natural leanings in this or that or the other direction in perhaps a more skills, taking them a little bit more seriously and getting skilled up with them. And teamwork in this area here could result in a fatter piggy bank, or in fact better health, because there is an indirect connection here with health and well-being as well. And then from the 22nd, Venus is in your communications sector, and it's teaming up with the Sun. It tends to sort of make what you're hearing more pleasant, or daily sort of interactions and contacts and distractions more entertaining or interesting. And some of you could be in an environment which supports your self-expression or some other self-expression, and you're just sitting back and enjoying that. You could have more access to the arts at this time, some of you. This transit could favourably connect you with siblings or soul brothers and sisters, very much so here. And you can also do well when negotiating, buying, selling, promoting, etc. So that's a little bit more of the same sort of idea going along with Mercury. And if you would like to settle a feud or, sort of pour oil on troubled waters, then this would be a good time to do it, because Venus here could bring grace, fluency and flow to your thinking and speaking. But there's always a but, isn't there? But it's only a little itsy bitsy tiny but. And when Venus overtakes Saturn on the 27th, you may have to be a little bit more careful what you say, how you say it, or with the writing or the correspondence or the paperwork or the form filling or whatever it is. Now, the big news last month was the move of Saturn, and it it came out of this money-orientated area, an area which is very materialistic in your solar chart, and it went into your communications area. And for 2.5 years, you will have to be quite ploddingly organized and persevering at times, and have to sort of furrow the brows and have a lot of mental focus on things. And that's going to be there until 2015. There's more about that on my website. And another long transit, Jupiter, for several months, up until next June, in fact, Jupiter will be guiding you along the path of expansion related to your general direction in life. Jupiter could be opening doors in directions that you had no idea about, and all of a sudden there's a lovely sort of new vista opening up before you. And that might connect you with people in foreign lands, or more travel for some of you, or an academic sort of environment where there's teaching, or an educational environment anyway, whether it's formal or informal. But also it could just bring professional opportunities your way. Something could just land on your lap out of a clear blue sky. And there's more about that on my website as well. And until the 17th, Mars is at the root of your chart, which means that you could be busier than usual getting organized around property, a space, a living space, a working space, inside, outside, and maybe around or to do with family members, a neighborhood, a locality, and over the wires as well, of course. Quite a good time actually to be working from home. It's quite a dynamic energy right at the roots of your chart. Physical effort, though, may be needed in or because of a working or living space. You really need to sort of shove things around a bit, or ditch things, or get things in, or whatever it is, replace things, or might not be just where you are in a sort of small way, but maybe in a bigger way, in like a neighborhood. It can be like that as well. But however it is, there may be more demand upon you from the base of operations, or to do with family, or extended family, or tribe. And this is important that you set good foundations in place as a launch pad, which is what I was hinting at earlier, or actually saying earlier. Launch pad which can underpin your activities in a more worldly sense, and your career, and so on. So the only thing about Mars here is that it can make you do the knee-jerk response, because you stumble over that skeleton that's still clattering around in the cupboard. So just be aware of that. And then Mars moves from the 17th. Mars is in a more relaxed, outgoing, not so inward or emotional, sensitive area, relaxed and outgoing area, and for some it can be a romantic area, giving you the opportunities to be less guarded or self-conscious and more creative in certain company. There will be more occasions when you feel at the center of attention, whatever that reason is. Hopefully it's a good one. And definitely more chance to be feeling valued by others for the roles you play, or just for you, because you're beautiful. And also some of you, it will work in a different way. It will mean that competitive activities could be more likely, or financial speculations, or some kind of risk taking anyway. And perhaps also you get more chance to do something that really makes you feel good, that is maybe a leisure activity, and you really enjoy it. And whatever is going on over this period, you'll tend to have the chance to enjoy special moments in relationships, or doing something that really makes you feel good, and that sort of kind of, you sort of puff your chest out a bit. And others are patting you on the back and saying, well done, and really giving you the recognition, and maybe even some praise there. And also, because it's this more playful area, you could be having more connection with children, young people, pets, or getting involved in a project or a pursuit which it is just something that's very empowering for you. Now, from the 22nd, the mental pace will slow down, and the focus will probably be more upon property, home, family, or a community. So you're getting more of the same, actually, with the sun coming in to this area as well from the 22nd. So that's it for November. If you're not on my website already, you can go there and find out what the slower moving outer planets are doing. And also, if you find the forecast for your moon sign or your rising sign, it's sometimes useful to listen to what's said about that, if you know what they are, of course. And those forecasts will add to or subtract from what I said here. And I'll see you the next time.